and welcome back to another episode of the Cheap Guitar Collective. And today I have taken some of your thoughts into consideration thanks to Reddit/guitars. I've upgraded my sound setup, etc. Got the audio interface running, had a decent microphone, decent lights, etc. And I'm working on getting some guests in, doing some comparisons, etc. But today we have this lovely black beauty. This is a 1970s, early 70s Columbus Les Paul. It's had some upgrades which we'll go on to talk about, but this is an absolutely lovely guitar. So, the Columbus Les Paul. Now, this is a guitar I've had for roughly around 8 years, I think. It's had only a couple of upgrades, the electronics, and these pickups are from an Ibanez Geo something, but they're just passive humbuckers with the plastic covers on to make them look like an AMG, and they're much better than what was in there before. The thing about Columbus guitars is that this particular one was one of the lower grade ones, and I don't know how much they sold for back in 1970. Something about, I think I read around £80, which I don't know what that scales up to in terms of inflation. But nowadays you can get them for from £100 to £200, which for a 1970s lawsuit era Les Paul is quite impressive. That they've retained that much value. But these are great guitars. The action on this is very low after some fine tuning. It could do with a fret dress and a good cleanup, but I really like the way it plays. The tuners are awful. They need to be replaced. They are the original ones from the 70s. Some of the screws are missing, etc. It's mostly all original, actually. I had the original pickups in them, and the Columbus pickups were like aluminium covered humbuckers, but they weren't. They were single coils in a humbucker body, and the sound was so tinny and dull that I just had to swap them out. And my plan for this at some point is to upgrade the chrome hardware and tuners to black ones, so it's all black, a little bit like the Matt Heafy Epiphone Les Paul. So, shall we see how it sounds? We'll give it some dirty tones, shall we? What can we play? Now for some clean tones, because this guitar is dirty. So how about we turn it down a little bit. So now you've heard the guitar, let me talk about the backstory of this. This guitar was my second guitar. So the first guitar I had was the standard first guitar that anyone has, which is a really cheap Strat, and I've still got it. It's in pieces. I'm planning on painting it purple, but that one, it was a heap of crap when I got it, and still is a heap of crap now, and that has started my hatred for Strats. There might be a Strat on the channel at some point, depending on what it is. It might be a Squire HH Strat or something at MIJ. But yeah, this obviously made in Japan, and it was when eBay was still, you could still grab a bargain on eBay. My dad bought it for me for my first performance at school, and it made one hell of a difference. I think we were going to play It's a Long Way to the Top by AC/DC, and well, now I've got an SG, the Angus Young Signature SG, but now when I think of it, I didn't know how to set up a guitar properly, so I pretty much played it how I had it. That performance was probably the worst performance that I've ever done, mainly because I was singing and I didn't know the words really, and the microphone wasn't actually turned on, so I don't know why people even came to watch it, but still, that is how I got it. My dad bought it for me, the guy actually dropped it off on eBay, and that's how I got this beast. Everyone who I've passed this guitar on to has said it plays absolutely amazing. It's got a shorter scale length than a Gibson. The Gibson's what, 25.5? This is roughly 25. So you can reach, well, I can reach up to 1, 2, 3, 9 frets on this, so it's a little bit smaller, but really easy to play. The frets, even though it's been well played over the last almost 50 years, are in relatively good condition. There's not really many dead spots. They need a polish, and the whole thing needs a clean, but I quite like the look of it. The pots are crap, and everything else, I think the body is a 2-piece mahogany body with a kind of softwood top to form the carve, because Columbus actually did 2 versions of this Les Paul. They did another one which was the kind of a proper copy, which was a sandwich body with a maple cap, and that one had the original Les Paul custom trapezoid inlays, whereas this one's just got the block inlays, the same as the 1970's Gibson Les Paul custom shop black Les Paul. Although this is on roughly the same standard as a Greco from the same era. The Grecos were made with higher quality parts, admittedly, and they sound amazing because they had decent pickups in them. Original Ibanez pickups from the same kind of lawsuit era, whereas these had, as I mentioned earlier, single coils in a humbucking formation. Now, where can you pick these up now? eBay, generally. eBay or Gumtree or Craigslist, something like that. You'll find them between £100 and £200, but I would 100% recommend it. It has a fat tone. Once you replace the pickups, it has a fat tone, and I find myself picking this up more than I do with my Gibson SG, and I played it on my friend's Epiphone Les Paul Prophecy the other day, and it's got a slimmer neck. This has got a proper C neck profile, as you'll see in the glamour shots, and it's just altogether one of the nicest guitars I've played in a while. Like, I'll go into a music shop, pick up a normal Les Paul, and they are harder to play than this. Thanks for watching this episode of the Cheap Guitar Collective, and there will be more to come with interviews with some of my friends and how they got their guitars, so stick around. Thank you Reddit for your suggestions, and make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Ciao.